Welcome everyone to Fish Drink More. It's time for some more Raid Shadow Legends. Yes, the game where I do a bunch of shenanigans. Let's try a reset team. With that, where is it? Where's my renegade? I swear I have a renegade in here somewhere. Built up. Yep. Last time, we're climbing up the Doom Tower, polishing up more secret rooms. We're going to polish some more secret rooms today. Increase accuracy. Put up the veils. Decrease their accuracy if you can. Get a provoke if we can. Get burns. There we go. Get the burns. Because I know it's going to take a while with the burns. More burns. More accuracy. More decrease accuracy. Go for that. All right. Keep the burns up. That's a stun. Or HP burn. There's a reason why Kymar is good in this. Because it keeps the burns. The longer you can keep these burns up, the more damage you'll be able to do. There we go. We got some burns. Decrease accuracy if I can. Target that head. I think we're improving. Keep that going. This is bad. Get the priority on that head. Come on. Well, we're screwed. Hopefully, I could just get... Well, we already have over 1 million, and it's deceiving me. Great. At least it's over 1 million. It's what we have when we get a bad Hydra run. This is what we like to call a bad Hydra run, but I don't want to mess around with trying to get more because I'm already in a very bad situation where I have to do things that are not related to the game, and it's a problem. And every day I have to clean these quests, and it's a bit of a curse. And I still have 18. Well, cleaning quests today is than usual due to a lot of them requiring manual start to intrude. I have to clean up events. There's no way around it. Okay, check daily challenges, done. The stuff, done. Done and done. All right. Done. Okay. And buy that for obvious reasons. If that shows up in the shop. Because I need shards badly. And I'm doing this to try to make these more convenient. Because guess what? The shard thing is coming soon. It's not great, no. It's not great. And it's warm out. Ugh. Okay. All right. Where are we at? Of course. Of course the shard shows up in the shop just as I'm about to finish my session. Just. It shows up. Like, why? Why? Why does it have to do this to me? Finally giving me a reason to push tag, and it's like the worst timing. The actual worst timing. The worst. The worst timing. This just had to be. Raid one of those games. Okay, so that one's dungeons. The other one's clan boss. Alright. Alright, so that's the diagnosis, eh? That's the diagnosis. Ah, so we made it up here. Okay, cool. Cool. I mean, it's double, triple, but I have to do something. Oh. No. No. Alright. Where are we at? Let's just take the shard. We're not anywhere near CVC. Okay. Hit the refresh again. Most of these are stacked to the ceiling, man. It's like a lot of these teams I don't even want to dare. They're so stacked. It's gross. Okay. I've been hitting arena so much. Okay, so we got to do the clan boss. Start with brutal and see how it goes. I'm going to do a direct comparison. And I'm not stopping until the maintenance is done. I want to try this with 2 separate setups. Cult Brawler, Geomancer, and Farrakin, and this guy, and see which one does more damage. Now, I will be doing more masteries for Dracomorph, but right now Dracomorph is not in the running for direct comparisons because his masteries are not complete. Just want to watch how this one plays out. It's amazing how long the clan boss fight actually is. So it really does test your how long you can last in a fight for. It really does test that. I wonder if throwing Renegade in this setup or Painkeeper could make it even better. I wonder. But I'd have to give them masteries anyway. I'd also have to make them very fast so they can rotate around those skills as well. As part of the challenge, right, of getting really high clan boss damage is just lasting long enough. Lasting to really high turn limit. Because that's where a lot of clan boss teams really shine, is later in, where their damage just ramps up. That's where a lot of them really shine. Hopefully I can just ramp up this to easily get over 20 mil and then work our way up from there. As it actually takes a shocking amount of damage to kill this thing. Like this would already one key easy, but we're not in that realm anymore. We're in an entirely different neighborhood. That's kind of where I'm at right now. Because you see, the amount of damage and survivability you actually need to get into like the crazy numbers, you know? As you see, when you get to turn 30, you start to creep up. Start to creep into danger zone. Especially when you can't get that decrease attack to be 100% consistent. Because at some point there, it goes out of sync. So let's try Geo Occult. Let's see what that does. Or maybe like I put Kimi in there, and that increases accuracy. Maybe that could be a good idea. You see, those two do a different setup. Geomancer Occult does a specific setup. Occult throws in the poison, and Geomancer the burns and the weaken. Weaken does a lot of damage. See how much burns come off it? But like they crack off it with the passive and the weaken. And that does a lot more to the clan boss. I don't know, is it more than ninjas? Though? I mean, maybe situationally in Affinity, but I'm not sure. You see, because the ninja has his own ramp up. So that's part of the problem. It's hard to calculate that in. This is obviously more constructible by most players as it's a full epic team. No legendaries. So it's hard to say whether it's going to outclass it. I don't think it will. So what does it do on Affinity? I mean, Void versus Affinity. That's the real question. Can a cult brawler pump out enough of those poisons to really make up the deficit? Because that quicksand grasp does a lot of damage, but you always have to analyze how much is in that in comparison. He's definitely better on affinity, I can tell you that. As on affinity, Ninja's damage effect is reduced by a lot. And that's something we always need to keep in mind. Also, Geomancer works better in unkillable setups. And that's always something to keep in mind. Because we both last 30 turns, but you'd need to last 50 turns or more to really, like, or even more than, like, yeah, like a lot more turns to really get the full benefit out of Geo. So that's, or have it be affinity, because affinity is like a different ball game where Ninja isn't relevant really because of his affinity. He's not nearly as relevant. Case closed. Nearly 40 turns though, but case closed on that. Okay, case closed. Let's give this a whirl and see how fast it climbs. There we go. There we go. I mean, it's working. You see that? Like, the Arbiter puts the increased attack. Renegade does the reset. Archmage gives the extra damage boost. With the crit rate and crit damage. And that speeds it along. Now, not everyone has an Arbiter, but I worked very hard for the Arbiter. She's not a pay-to-win Arbiter. This is a free-to-play, mission-oriented Arbiter. We are at a late stage of the game on this account. I worked unbelievably hard to get this to this point. Nobody can really understand, except for those who've gone the distance, what I actually had to do to get this point. But that's what I gotta do. I gotta try to clear. I've gotta try to clear this out of the way. We're making it. It's working. Renegade doing a lot of the work, though. Because Renegade is resetting those skills so that my team can go again. That's what Arbiter... Well, Arbiter does turn meter boost as well. The increased attack works well with Zavia and Dracomorph. Now, normally we would use a decrease attack technique, but I've got a ultra cool plan that I want to employ. I want to employ a delete this thing plan. I want to see how fast I can kill it. I'm just gonna include Arbiter in there. I'm sorry. Like, I want the speed technique because of how much time this dungeon actually takes me normally to clear. I just want to like blow it up real fast. Just what is the fastest I can do to blow this thing up? Also including War Maiden, because War Maiden is cool looking. 26 seconds. Not bad. All right. Let's do the auto climb again. I want to see what the secret room is next. If we can clear it, that would be great. I mean, I'm sorry I'm not including War Maiden in everything. It's just War Maiden is getting to be obsolete in most stuff. I just did that for a flex. It's not like, oh, I use War Maiden in everything. We're not at that phase of the game anymore. We're at the phase of the game where I'm using much more powerful characters to get my jobs done. Like, Dracomorph is like my decreased defense champ now, and my big money force affinity champ for damage is Zavia now instead of War Maiden. Like, she's getting replaced in a lot of content. Not in faction crypts, but in a lot of other places, yes. Yes, unfortunately, she's getting replaced. It's just the eventual progression of the game. You one day, if you're dedicated like me, you will one day get to that point. It takes a long time to do, by the way. This is not a quick process, especially if you're free to play. War Maiden will not get replaced for a very long time. But I've gotten to that point where even though I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, by the way, if you haven't subscribed, please do if you're watching this. And that's what I gotta do. Like, eventually there's a progression thing where War Maiden is used less. It's just how it is. She's not. She outlasts Kale for most of the time. I've used her beyond Kale. I've used her beyond Elhain for most things except Fashion Wars. But even her being a regular rare, she has a time. Like void rares, there are void rares that are in the end game. Renegade on the far right is one of them because Renegade fits into that reset thing. I don't have a Kymar to replace her. So because I don't have a Kymar to replace her, her job she's not out of a job yet. If I get a Kymar, eventually she'll be out of a job. But until I get a Kymar, she's not out of a job yet. In fact, even with a Kymar, she's still not out of a job because she pairs well with the Kymar. But she has a job right now that's actually not replaceable because the game just simply will not give me a Kymar. You may ask how this is. My luck on legendaries is not actually that good. We are kind of late in the game, but here's the big deal. Even as a free-to-play, I should have more and better legendaries than I do by this point. My luck has been rotten. And because my luck has been rotten, we're not going to necessarily be getting them straight away. We're going to have to get them over a very long grind. Like a grind that is imperceptible for newer players to... It's the same thing with legendary books, like imperceptible for newer players to know about because they haven't been there yet. It's imperceptible, but I can tell you it's... I don't know how to explain it. I don't. Like, the grind is so much that newer players can't comprehend it. They cannot comprehend the level of grind. They can't. They simply can't. That's right. Yup. That's the bitter truth. They can't comprehend it. You can't... Most of these people will not be able to comprehend what it actually takes to get there until they get there, and they'll be like, oh, snap. They'll be like, oh, snap. Is that what it actually takes? And I'll be like, nodding slowly. Yep. Yep, that's what it actually takes. And there's no getting around it. It's kind of like when people see the Killing Curse for the first time, and they're like, or whatever, like, what is that? And I'm like, yeah, that's something that you guys as newer people, they can't comprehend what it actually takes. It's a type of grind that I never knew what I was signing up to in terms of this grind until later. I never knew. That's the reality of it. That looks like Spirit Host, but is not one. Please. My other account, I still have to raise more void rares again. Fiendishly. But yes. It happens again. But yes, the incomprehensible grind that is Raid Shadow Legends. Incomprehensible. You can't comprehend it as a new player. You just can't. You cannot comprehend what it truly means to get to the late game of this game. Unless you've played a game like it before, you can't. You seriously can't. And that's the bitter reality of it. All right, we're done. Like and subscribe. I've checked all the quests off. I've used up the keys. I did my duty. Until later, we will do more of this game.